Um, this is insane, man. This is really good news for everybody, in a way. And let's see here. Okay. Now, I did a video on Rumble about what happens if a civil war began. You know, I mean, the whole, because the big concern, that because of what happened to Charlie Kirk, and it's the one thing that nobody wants, and I think that we all need to heal. I think we all need to heal because of and to really understand that someone who wasn't really a threat was assassinated, by a crazy guy. And we don't need to be now, because of that, President Trump has labeled Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. Now, on TikTok, a member of the group admits that Antifa in Portland, they're terrified now. They're scared. And I see it as they never thought, right? They never thought that they'll be labeled as a they never thought that they would be labeled as a terrorist organization. What are you doing? Huh? What you doing? This is Juno. Huh? What are you doing? Huh? Huh? You want to see? Huh? You want to see? Look at you. Look at you. It's Juno. Say hi, Juno. Say hi, Juno. It's a good girl. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Now the thing is, like, since they're now labeled as a terrorist organization officially, now Antifa for the longest time has been a village full of really fucked up looking white kids that happens to look like a reject group from the Foot Clan, Ninja Turtles. But it's just really funny, because if you look at them, they're all wearing black. They look like Foot Clan reject, man. It looks like Shredder pulled their cards and yeah, retard, get here. No, just playing. Let's see here. Boy, you look fucked up. You look like you were face fucked by a frying pan. Yeah, I mean, there's a picture of a guy that looks like he got literally face fucked by a frying pan, man. And all right, you want to see? You want to see? See hi? You see hi? What? Huh? What? Got your feetsies. Got your feetsies. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Now, but the thing is, for the longest time, they've held Portland, Oregon hostage, man. Now you had city leaders, not just Portland, but also Berkeley and Seattle, right? And like they've held certain areas hostage, right? Hostage, and now the Proud Boys, right? Proud Boys. The Southern Poverty Law Center labeled the Proud Boys as a hate group, right? They labeled them as terrorist organization without any evidence, right? But they gave Antifa a pass, okay? Now, Gavin McInnes, who you all know who he is, he created the group to counter Antifa. But after he walked away, the new head of the group became a movement. The Proud Boys became a movement. And Antifa saw them as a threat. So they coordinated plans to get them arrested, blame them for what they did, But here's the thing: the leader of Proud Boys wasn't even in D.C. during January 6th. Now, Stuart Rhodes, he got arrested. He all of a sudden was doing what? 15 years? Anybody who's on the right, accused without any evidence, automatically got a huge, lengthy sentence over something that they didn't even do. So when Trump became president, he pardoned everybody. But yet, there was a couple people that were that were pardoned, but yet a judge refused to release them until he was forced to release them. Now, if there's a pardon, you have to follow the pardon. They're released. Well, 2-3 people weren't even released yet. And because these judges, you see these days, they've forgotten their oath. They politicized the bench, They totally politicized the bench, and have no idea that they took an oath, right? Took an oath. They swore an oath. And you would think that, okay, well, we don't care what the president did. They're not being released. Not releasing them. Yes, good girl. I mean, the thing is, like, once the pardon was done, you as a judge, you have to accept the pardon and release them. Like the McCloskeys, right? Remember the McCloskeys? They had their guns taken away, right, by the DA in St. Louis. Because BLM, they broke into a gated community. If you look at the gate, that thing was destroyed, dude. That was destroyed. Now, they stopped right in front of the McCloskeys and threatening them. Like you destroyed a gate to break into a gated community. You stop in front of the home of the McCloskeys. They're armed, right? Mr. McCloskey has an AR-15. Mr. McCloskey has a gun that didn't even work. Didn't even work. But yet she held it, you know. And now here's a real fucked up thing here. The former DA had it fixed to working condition. Now that by doing that, that's an equivalent of planning something on somebody, you know, which is really fucked up, you know. Like, dude, you're planning something, you know. So that DA got recalled, removed. Now, this is the same DA that went after the former governor. And we all know who got that idea from her, Letitia James. Right? Yeah. All these dumbass brides thought they're above the law. They're not above the law. Now she's looking at some charges of real estate fraud, right? Real estate fraud. If you're in a seat of power in one state, right? Why have you a residence in another state? Adam Schiff, he's a congressman out of California, right? California. He has a home in Maryland. In Maine or Maryland, right? And he lists that as a permanent residence, right? Now here's a guy who should be censored and removed. Same guy who lied about the whistleblower. I know the anonymous whistleblower, right? Yeah, and about the which was Eric Ciaramella, who was the whistleblower or the expert witness kind of thing, you know. And he said, anybody attempt to question or mention the witness, he made sure that it never was mentioned, but yet it got leaked. It was Eric Ciaramella, you know. I tweeted one time ago, "Hey, douchebag, are you saying the person that is a anonymous whistleblower, is his name by chance Eric Ciaramella?" Because it got leaked somehow. It got leaked. And I'm surprised that this fucking douchebag Adam Shitnuts didn't find out, or he probably did but didn't do shit. Yeah, and Same guy who said he said he had so much evidence on Donald Trump. He's going to take him down. Adam Schiff is shit. This guy is more crooked than a used car salesman at a cheap golf weekend at a third-rate country club. Yeah. I mean, like, dude, it's funny how times fly now. We're in what, 2025? Okay. For nearly a decade, Antifa ran amok without any consequences, you know. And so Donald Trump labeled them as domestic terrorist organization after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, man, you know. And all of a sudden, member of Antifa on TikTok, on social media, we're afraid now. We're afraid now. We never thought we would be labeled domestic terrorist organization. What the fuck, man? We didn't do anything. Yes, you did, you douche nuts. You terrorized people of Portland and Berkeley. The city leader, mayors, protected your ass. They even let you raise your flag on the city hall flagpole. Now, thing is, Gavin McInnes, look him up, Gavin McInnes. He appeared on Fox News a couple times. And he has his own podcast. And he created Proud Boys as a counter. But when he walked away, someone took over as leadership and became a kind of like a counter, like a big counter to Antifa, man, you know. And Proud Boys isn't what they label them as a white supremacist group. Now, if the Proud Boys, right, if they were a white supremacist group, as they're labeled as, how come there's black guys, Hispanic guys, not just white guys, but also, some white guys, black guys, Hispanic dudes, just a melting pot of guys, you know. Not white guys. That's Antifa. Antifa looks like a bunch of fucked up white kids who are rejects of the Foot Clan. You know, and so, Proud Boys, they're not what the media says. They're not, dude, you know. And the leader of the group was out of town when January 6th happened, right? Remember, January 6th happened? All of a sudden, Stuart Rhodes, founder of Oath Keepers, former military police that take the oath seriously, and who helped protect businesses in Ferguson, Missouri. You don't know that shit, dude, man. Now, the Proud Boys head guy was arrested for causing a riot, being part of an insurrection, even though he was not even in DC at the time. So, how can you charge somebody with insurrection or being part of it when they were out of town. Any judge would throw it out because where's the evidence? Right? Where's the evidence? You know. And it's just like, you know, it's insane. But it's kind of funny how Antifa in Portland, Oregon are now terrified, scared, right? Terrified. Since they've been labeled that, I bet they probably might want to rethink about attacking the ICE facility, right? Because all they're doing is just antagonizing, man. Overgrown children having a temper tantrum, now labeled domestic terrorists. About fucking time. About time. Now the question is, what are they going to do next? Because since they were labeled, that changes everything on them. For them. So it's funny. It is funny because the thing is, they never thought that their actions would have them labeled as domestic terrorists. See, this is how stupid they are, right? How dumb they look, you know. A female member on TikTok said they know what happened with Charlie Kirk, and members in Portland are now terrified. And the thing is, look, you can have your beliefs, whatever, I don't care, you know. But the thing is, if someone gets seriously injured or dies, that means you are in deep fucking shit. You are now liable for their death and or their injuries and shit, you know. They almost killed Eddie No. They almost killed the guy. You know. And they're still wanting to kill the guy. You know. Eddie No, a gay Asian guy, very ballsy dude, has written a book. And Antifa doesn't like being filmed. They don't like being recorded. They don't like their faces to be seen at all, because if their face gets seen, they're fucked. Well, isn't that a little bit too late, man? Isn't that a little bit too late? I mean, there's a rogue gallery of fucked up looking white kids with pink hair, purple hair, green, all shit, who looks like the rejects of the Foot Clan. You know, like, what the fuck? And so, I mean, it's really funny how these, I mean, what's funny is someone would release to the internet of, like, they did a video here a few years ago where they're at the beach doing Navy SEAL training. All they're doing is jumping jacks and push-ups. It's called exercising, moron. And then, a couple of years later, after that, someone leaked out a footage of Antifa in a building, and they're doing this fake self-defense bullshit. Look, it's obvious they cannot fight, okay? They can't fight. They only fight as a group, right? One-on-one, they get their ass kicked, right? One-on-one. And they had, was it 2 people who are now in prison? Because if y'all remember the Black Hawk guy, right? The Black Hawk guy, he got, what, 10 years? 10 years? Because they used the Black Hawk where it was a big old U, and at a bar that they put it in. It's a lock, you know, all those windows locks and shit. And the guy used it and hit someone in the head, like, hard as fuck, dude. Where the guy who got hit suffered a concussion. It was bad. So they're like, who's the guy with the lock? So it took a while. Found out the guy is a teacher at a community college. Right? Now, when he did that, he ran. He ran. You know, and he got caught. He got caught. It's funny. It's awfully funny how they would. I mean, Jack Posobiec, he got attacked. Okay, and a few years ago, and by a guy wearing a bike helmet and a 10-speed, right? All of a sudden, the guy was like, and just punched him right in front of cops. Right? Cops pulled up. He attacked me. Bullshit, dude. Helmet head got arrested for assaulting Jack Posobiec. Right? No provoke, without even a provoke. A bicycle helmet guy got locked up for a while. He did. So, it's awfully funny how now they're afraid. Now they're terrified now. After Charlie Kirk got assassinated, right? And it's really funny now. I mean, like, dude, you guys fucked up, right? You guys fucked up. Now you realize that you're fucking up without any consequences and shit. Now you're labeled a domestic terrorist organization. Now you're terrified because you finally realized the writing was on the wall without even realizing it, you know. So you guys fucked up. Now you're shaking in your Converse, Birkenstocks, whatever you wear, you know. But it's good that you're terrified and afraid. That changes your game now, right? That now, since you're labeled a terrorist organization, now that changes your plans, right? That changes everything, right? It does, you know. So, what happens now? What happens now? Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. So, the thing is, right? Things are changing, okay? This second term is what I call the revenge tour, because Democrats, a lot of people are leaving the DNC, right? They're leaving. They're leaving because they realize most of this shit's happening. The Democrats, whether you're a liberal or progressive or even a socialist, including the neocons and rhinos that are really had no idea the writing's on the wall, you know. Dude, you know, I would say you guys need to wake the fuck up and realize you guys just pretty much screwed yourself. Being the brown shirts of the DNC, becoming the Italian black shirts of the DNC, right? Bunch of fucked up looking white kids who can't fight, but can only fight as a group, but not one-on-one because you guys are fucking pussies and shit. What? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come here. Oh, come here. You good? You good? Oh, you good? Oh, you good? Huh? You good? Now, you gotta think. Realize. Reassess your actions, man. Okay? Your actions determines your reality, man. Because the thing is, the issue is, you think, just because you think you could hold a part of a town hostage because you want a communist town, right? You want to turn your town into a communist system. Well, we are in the United States. We are in the United States of America, man. Okay, we are a Christian country, right? Even though there's other religions, you know. We have laws here, man. Communism will not survive here. Socialism will not survive here. Marxism will not survive here. Okay, it will not, because we are a capitalist society, man. You know, Soviet Union went down in '91. Okay, and in '91, as soon as Russia, who controlled Eastern Germany, after Gorbachev and Reagan met for those few years, and those words, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And those words were like a big old hammer, man, you know. And in the world's mind is more like, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Like straight up, like sledgehammers hitting a fucking cinder wall, dude. It's just complete, like, you know, hard as fuck, though, dude. You know. Watch Claus, man. Watch Claus. Turd. And so since that happened, communism crumpled in '91. You know, most of countries controlled by Russia, independent, no longer under communist rule. You know, things. Well, you can move your ass. Communism died in '91. You know, there's a building in Europe, somewhere under Europe, and it was this communist equivalent of the United Nations, right? For years. For years. Now, it's insane. You know, the building now is a shell of its former self. Okay, it was. It is. They're talking about wanting to make it a museum. I don't mind that, you know, because you're learning about from 1917 to 1991. Yeah. And during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 80s, East Germany had the Stasi. And what they did, you know, how they worked, somehow we have their playbook here. We have their fucking playbook here. Somehow our government has the Stasi playbook. Really? Like, dude. And it's insane, man, you know. But communism from 1917 to 91, that was the heaviest time. Heavy. Fucking heavy, man. But after the wall came down, you know, there was certain areas in Germany where, like, Checkpoint Charlie, right? That location was a map for Call of Duty Black Ops in 2010. Yeah. I still play that game, you know. I still play it, you know. One of my favorite games of that series, you know. That and Cold War. That one and Cold War are two of my favorites. And but the technology of that time of the late 70s, early 80s, man. That is the golden age of serious analog technology, man, you know. Heavy. But, you know, again, time's fly, man. It's been, what, 34, was it 34 years? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 34 years since the Cold War ended. 34 years ago. And even the wall came down, you know, over 30 plus years ago. And I tell you what, man, you know, I mean, even though the Cold War is over with, done, you know, but it seems that they want to keep blaming Russia, man. Russia this, Russia that, you know. They do it in movies, they do it in video games, all that bullshit, you know. No, I'm not pro-Russia. Don't even go there. I love my country. I love my home. You know. I love, you know, my home. I was born here and raised here, you know. And I would never change. Never change. And I just think that it's really kind of a fucked up thing that we're in a time where the moment in time we're in. And it is sad. It is very, very sad. It is very, very sad. Depressing, but sad, because of what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, how many shootings since then that happened, because there were 2 others that same day. One in Colorado, one in Pennsylvania. Like, why? I mean, why? Why? You have transgender individuals doing the shootings, right? But the media wants to blame it on a white guy. Oh, please be a white guy. Please be a white guy. The shooter tries to be trans. And, oh, fuck. How come? Why? How come they? Oh my. And I can probably be seeing this and laugh because, like, dude, I'm sorry, the shooter ain't. I mean, he may be white, but the person's a trans individual, a white trans individual. So maybe you might want to tone down on blaming the white guy for the shooting, because in the mid 2000s, Virginia Tech, right? Virginia Tech, twice in 1 year. It wasn't a white guy the first time. It was an Asian guy, right? An Asian guy. Not all shootings are done by white guys, okay? So don't even fucking go there, okay? The media likes to really twist shit, that bullshit, And Dianne Feinstein said, 94, she goes, only if I had those votes. If I would have had them, Mr. and Miss America, turn in your guns. Nah, didn't pass that way. Now, this woman, who was alive at the time, she was armed to the teeth herself. Okay? She carried a .44 mag in her purse. A short barrel .44 mag, okay? And she had armed protection. Right? So it's okay for these assholes to have armed guards, but we the people are allowed to bear arms and defend ourselves, right? I mean, it's like this. Years ago, they had it where in Texas, where if you go anywhere, you leave your gun in your glove compartment. You're not allowed to carry it. If you carry it concealedly, you go to prison. Go to jail for a while. Why? It wasn't until this woman who lost her mom and dad that she really let them have it. Because if it's okay for a politician to have an armed security, but an American citizen cannot conceal carry to defend oneself and others? Second Amendment, man, shall not be infringed, right? Right to bear arms shall not be infringed, right? But yet they're infringing on your Second Amendment right, dude. That bullshit. And so I mean, the Democrats are the ones who are anti-gun, anti-civil liberty, anti-Bill of Rights, unless it's for them. Yeah. Okay for me, but not for thee, right? That bullshit. Now, the thing is, after what happened to Charlie Kirk, how come Democrats didn't all of a sudden demand gun control? I didn't hear about it. I didn't hear anything. Did you? No. Because usually if it's a shooting, all of a sudden, a certain type of shooting, Democrats be like, we need gun control. We need a assault weapons ban. Okay, here, okay, come out. How many times have we heard demanding for assault weapons ban? Right? But when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, you didn't hear anything about gun control or assault weapons ban. Ain't that weird? Charlie Kirk is assassinated. Nothing from the peanut gallery about gun control or assault weapons ban. But if it's somebody else, we need assault weapons ban. We need background checks. Right? Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. Nothing said about gun control. Nothing said about assault weapons ban. How ironic, right? How ironic. Really? How ironic that is, right? Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. Nobody says anything about gun control or assault weapons ban. But yet, if it's somebody else that ain't Charlie Kirk, all of a sudden, we need assault weapons ban. We need gun control. NRA did this. But yet, Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. Nothing is said from the peanut gallery. Right? Now this one is where we all gotta think for a moment, right? Think. If somebody that ain't Charlie Kirk or somebody from the right, we need assault weapons ban and gun control. Right? Somebody that ain't Charlie Kirk, am I right? But all of a sudden, the peanut gallery demands assault weapons ban. Right? Think. Stop. And think. Now, in 1902, there's the Dick Act of 1902. Look it up. It states, any gun control legislation is null and void. The act is unrepealable. You can't repeal it. You can't. Why? It backs the Second Amendment. Right? It backs the Second Amendment. Yeah. So, think Democrats, the peanut gallery, demands gun control, background checks, and assault weapons ban? Again, think. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. Nothing is said about gun control, background checks, or assault weapons ban. Right? Right? Nothing is said. Absolutely nothing is said. Right? Nothing is said. That's totally ironic, man. You know, ironic, by the way. You know. Okay, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and end this feed. But again, think about this for a moment, okay, guys? Think about this for a moment. My name is Reverend Ordo, spelled REVANORDO. And if you're new to this channel, like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notification, and always live healthy, happy, and wise. And I mean really wise. And we'll all see you next time on the Anonymous Mando'Ade Network. Peace out. Godspeed. Buddha bless.